Pacific time. A reminder before we bring Coach Brennan on here, the final radio show of the year, the week of Thanksgiving, will not be taped on Wednesday. In fact, it'll be taped on Tuesday the 21st. So if you'd like to come to the live taping of the show, come on Tuesday. The recording and the airing will still occur on KLIV on Thursday, Thanksgiving. Let's welcome in San Jose State head coach Brent Brennan.
Hello. Thanks for coming. Let's see. So, got to give credit to Coach Long in San Diego State. They've got a really nice football team. They're well coached. They play hard. They execute at a really high level. Obviously, their tailback is a brilliant player, and they were better than us. And so it was a hard game because the kids had practiced really hard all week and they had put in a lot of effort. And we'd had a good week of practice, but we were just not able to hold up against the run game, and obviously we had trouble moving it on offense, turned it over too many times. A lot of the stuff that we've talked about before, which is a constant battle right now. But met with the kids today. We're hard at getting a new plan together for Nevada, and we're excited to play again and continue on what I believe is a path of getting better every day.
Hey, Coach. Just want to talk about the uniforms that you guys wore on Saturday. Just when did you find out during the week that you guys were going to, wear the Silicon Valley themed uniforms, and then just your thoughts on them?
That was something that we started putting together when I got hired here, and our thoughts with, Ben Thenis and I talking about, and obviously Marie was involved, our athletic director Marie Tuitt, trying to create some kind of, new game day, putting a tech day together with, it ended up being with Steam Sports, and it ended up being a really good thing on Friday for all our juniors and seniors were able to go and participate, kind of talking about the integration of tech and athletics. And so it was a really great day. There was lots of, people from, high ups in lots of sports organizations and other organizations in the, in the Bay Area. And so the idea with the design of the tech uniform was just to give our guys something different to wear, something to celebrate where we are. I think a lot of people talk about Silicon Valley, but I think in the athletic world, lots of the times kids don't really understand what that means. They don't understand how unique it is to go to a school that's centered right in the middle of it. And so that was a way for us to kind of emphasize that and to give the players something that they were excited to wear.
Coach, I'm just wondering, how would you describe how the plays are called by Coach Odom on defense?
I think the plays, how is he calling the plays? Is that your question? Yeah. I think, Coach Odom has us in a good position a lot of the times, and it's a breakdown, one player. Some of that's been, some of the personnel challenges we've had with some of the people we've lost. It's made it harder to play the kind of defense we want to play. But Coach Odom and Coach Harris and Boj and Coach Sam, all of those guys are working hard, putting together a plan with the personnel we have to give us a chance to stop people. Obviously against San Diego State, they were just executed at a really high level, and the mismatch up front was more than we could handle.
Coach, you guys face a Nevada team that's kind of seen some struggles as well this season. Do you feel like, as far as looking further into the schedule, that this is probably the game that you guys have on the radar as far as getting a win in conference play?
Well, this is the most important game of the year because it's the only game we get to play this week. And so, in our desire, our effort to move our program forward, every week matters, every practice matters. We don't look ahead to any games because, we haven't played well enough to think that way. And so we need to be focused on the moment. We need to be focused on today's classes and tomorrow's practice and this one opponent. Obviously, Nevada's had their ups and downs, and they've had some tough scheduling and some tough battles like we have. But if you watch them play, they're playing good football, and they're really moving the ball on offense, and they seem to have found the rhythm with their new quarterback. So I think
some time for him to recover and get back out there for the next time he was needed. First, talk about the conversion process of what goes in such a short frame of a short amount of time to get a guy ready to go play a different position, potentially even a different side of the ball, and then how do you prepare for that?
So what are some things you could do to help the Spartans avoid getting penalized at important moments of the game?
It's a Hawaii game, so that's something that I think is something I feel much better about than where it was, a month ago. That's part of a young team and a team that's just struggling, trying to do everything they can. You see an offensive lineman jump off sides. He's jumping off sides because he thinks he has to go fast to try and block the guy he's trying to block, right? So we've built a bunch of discipline stuff into our practice environment with our team, and I think we've seen the benefit of that the last 2 weeks. We had 2 penalties at BYU, and we had 4 for 30 against San Diego State. So I think that's trending in a good direction.
First game of the season before him. Ethan Welch was very well. Just talk about the player and the person he is on and off the field. And if we'll see him start Saturday against Nevada.
Yeah, Tyson is a great kid. I was really excited when I got here because we had looked at him a lot when I was at Oregon State, and we ended up not pulling the trigger. And so then he was still available when I got hired here, so we were able to kind of restart the conversation. He's an awesome kid. Comes from a really great high school program in Southern California, and so it's just great to see him get in there and make the plays he made. And I think it's always a challenge when you're a freshman. I think back to my first time, or not my first time, but Coach McIntyre's first season here, and we went out to play Alabama, and we throw Vincent Boulanger out there, who's a kid I recruited from Clayton Valley High School, and he was a true freshman, and he had 13 tackles, and he was just playing football. And I kind of felt the same way about Tyson. Like all of a sudden he's in the game full time, and he's just out there cutting it loose and playing. He wasn't right all the time. He knows that, but he had great production, and he showed that he can play. So I think there's a lot of our young men that are going through that right now. When you look out there and you see Sinjin Astani and Christian Johnson and Tyson and Jay Leonard, you just have a bunch of young bodies that are out there, fighting their tails off. Rico Tolfree on defense, trying to find a way to line up and execute the defense, but then also play hard and be productive.
Yeah, sticking to the subject of high school programs and having the young players on the team. So Tyson Martin, for instance, at Sarah, they had a 16-2 record while he was there. Trey Walker, 14-1 league record at Arnold. When you think about the success that these guys had at the high school level, now they're faced with adversity and taking a lot of losses. How do you think they respond to that? And do you feel like the fear of losing kind of instills them to perform the best that they possibly can, despite the fact that they're young players?
Well, I'd hope so. I hope it does. But I think anyone that's playing on this level should be motivated by achievement. And you mentioned 2 young players that are having really good true freshman seasons for us. And I think the reason that they're able to do that is because they take it so seriously, and they take their process seriously. And they were, even when they first got here, in practice and they weren't at the front of the line, they were paying attention. They were taking notes in meetings. They were paying attention when someone else was being coached so that they weren't going to make the same mistake someone made 10 minutes before. And, you know, Tyler Nevins would be another guy, right? Like, you know, all those guys, those true freshmen that have had significant production for us this year. It's something that I'm really excited about, right? This is something that I'm saying, okay, this is rough right now, but if those guys will continue to improve each week, you know, we'll have some momentum with those younger guys going into the off season, and, you know, hopefully, you know, with their consistency, or hopefully as they play, they can get a little more consistent, is what I would like.
Coach, how can the Spartan defense force more punting situations?
Well, we got to stop them, I think. You know, I think that was hard last night, or Saturday night. You know, that program has been, you know, 10 years in the building. And like I mentioned in my post-game press conference, you know, that's a CSU program that we would love to be like. You know, they win consistently, they go to bowl games, they graduate their kids, they're doing all the right things. They've got a bunch of good-looking bodies there. So those are guys that we have real respect for. And, you know, for our defense, you know, they're fighting their tails off, and we need to be in the right gap, and we need to make the right tackles when we get an opportunity to. There were a couple missed opportunities Saturday night that led to big plays that really hurt us.
Coach, both you and head coach Jay Rose hired on the same day last year, December 7th. Both have had at least 19, 20 years experience coaching. This season for both will be first time head coaches, of course, but you know, just one win as the season is winding down. What would you say, like, kind of just the challenge of coaching at college, coaching college football?
What is the challenge of coaching college football as a head coach, or as a head coach? I think I've mentioned it some. I think you just go what you're responsible for, just, you know, multiplies, you know, by 100. You know, basically you know, you're responsible for 15 guys at Oregon State coaching the receivers. Then all of a sudden you've got 105 plus on your roster. You have, you know, some responsibility with the weight room, your coaching staff, academics, training room. So all of a sudden, you know, so that's the biggest challenge, is the management of people. You know, that was a Coach Tony used to say it all the time. Football's not complicated, people are. And so when you go from managing 15 to going managing or being directly involved with 150 plus, that just changes the whole dynamic. But I've known Jay a long time. He's a good guy. He's a good football coach. I'm sure he'll do a good job at Nevada. We've overlapped a bunch, coached against each other some. He's a good coach, but he's older than me. Let's get that straight right now.
Coach, how does Beyond Football contribute to the winning culture you have for the team?
That's a good question. I think Beyond Football has a chance to impact us in a lot of positive ways. The first and foremost, it has a chance to help our players that are you know, graduating and get jobs, which is what we want for all of them. You know, my goal is for every player that comes through this program to have a shot at the NFL and to have a job offer. You know, so you know, as they progress year to year, it helps them build a resume, which is, you know, when college football players, or really most student athletes, when they're done playing, they don't have a resume because they spend so much time training for their sport, whatever it is. It could be women's golf, it can be, you know, wrestling or football. You know, it doesn't matter. Everybody puts so much time and effort into their sport and into their academics that they don't have time to build a resume like normal students might when they're in college. So this is going to help our kids build that resume, you know, year by year, and then have some relatable work experience when they're entering the job market. I also think it's really important that with that program, we're involved in the community, right? So we're trying to engage the community of San Jose, and our kids are out doing community service, you know, hopefully building some relationships that will lead to people being excited about what we're doing here. And so finding a way to find multiple outreach opportunities with the, you know, San Jose and the Bay Area with our football program, we're hoping is only going to help build our fan base and get people excited about what we're doing here.
You talked about it on a weekly basis. With things going the way they are in terms of the season and what you guys, the coaching staff, and yourself individually do to kind of help keep morale up, keep the positivity level up. On Saturday, you were asked a question and responded about how you felt for the seniors on the team. What have you noticed from the players? We don't get the chance to really talk to them a lot. What is it that you've noticed the players have done to kind of boost morale and keep morale on a high level on a week-to-week basis and keep that within the players?
Well, I think the best thing they've done is that they just come to work every day. Our practice environment continues to have extremely high energy. It's really competitive, and so the guys are coming to work and battling day in and day out. And they're holding each other accountable in the practice environment and in the film room. And the kids are junkies. They're around this building all the time. You walk through this building at any time, there'll be 15 to 30 football players hanging out, sometimes in study hall, sometimes in office, checking in with the coach. But I think those kids, I think the coaching staff has done a good job of that too, right? Is staying positive. I think that's because it is hard right now. I think between the coaches and the players, all pushing each other, all holding each other accountable. That's why our kids keep playing, and our kids are fighting to the end of every game, because they know that we're on a path of improvement, even though we're not getting the result we want right now.
Coach, how important is it for the Spartan defense to come up with more turnovers that can lead to points?
It's really important. It's really important, and there's been, there hasn't been enough of that, and the flip side of that is there's been too much of it on offense, right? Some of that is young quarterback or young players at some spots, but I mentioned the other night after the game about Trey Walker just trying to make a play, trying to get a couple extra yards on that on the screen we threw to him, that resulted in the fumble. But obviously it's a huge stress point for our defense. They've practiced it every day, turnover, emphasis, all these things, and hopefully it'll get better as we come down the stretch here.
Coach, it's that time of the season where the weather starts to get colder. I'm sure you're used to it, especially Golden State. Here in San Jose, a lot of players being recruited from in-state. Do you think that kind of challenges them, not only physically, just mentally?
It can. It can. I think there's always part of that, but if you're a competitor, it doesn't matter what the conditions are. You just want to play, and so that's definitely a point of emphasis. When normally you have to go on the road in November to Nevada, or you have to go on the road to Fort Collins, you might have to deal with some weather. I don't know if you guys saw the Wyoming game on Saturday. Talk about weather! Wow, it's like a foot of snow on the head coach's cap during the game. But that's part of it. And you remember that. We went on the road game and it rained and snowed and we found a way to win it. Those are some of the things that make it fun.
Coach, clearly there's been a lot of growing pains this season, but when you know that a lot of the production is coming from a lot of young guys, how hopeful are you looking forward to the future of San Jose State football?
I'm extremely hopeful for that. I think we've added some good pieces, to the puzzle here, and we need to add some more. And really, right now, I really want us to find a way to finish this thing the right way for the kids, for the seniors that are here. But I think whenever you go through this kind of struggle, the natural, battle there, or the natural challenge, is that everybody wants to feel sorry for themselves and walk around and hang their heads, and we're not letting our guys do that, and they're not. They're coming to work. We had a great meeting today, and so I've seen leadership come from a freshman or come from a sophomore. It's okay, and I think those guys, as they continue to grow and mature, will be the future leaders of our team.
Coach, it's clear that the Spartans and Wolfpack have just one win apiece so far this season. How could San Jose State increase their hope on their side of the field?
Well, we just need to play and play better, and some of that comes from making sure that we're executing at a high level. But the biggest part of that, and I sound like a broken record a little bit, is that turnover margin, right? We have been just awful in that regard. It's something that Coach Tomey reminds me every week when I talk to him, and he's right. And so we're trying to put stuff into our practice environment to help our guys focus on, like I mentioned, either creating turnovers or protecting the football. But I think that, that's the biggest piece. We need to go up there and handle the trip, and then we need to make sure that when it comes time to play, that we're emotionally ready to play, and that we're focused on protecting the football and taking it away.
Coach, I already mentioned this after the game. The first half, how you guys struggled with points here at home. Only one home game left. It seemed like the last time you guys really were able to come out with a lot of energy was the game against USF. Do you hope that is that kind of the mindset going into it? It's starting fast, so the rest of the game can at least kind of pick up, or instead of finding yourselves in the deficit early on.
Absolutely. I think everybody would prefer to start fast. Everybody would absolutely prefer that. And that's something when you go on, when you go on the road, you definitely want to do that because it gives you a chance to kind of maybe take their crowd out of it a little bit, slow them down. I felt like we actually did that at Hawaii a little bit. We started pretty fast against Hawaii. But in order to do that, right, you can't give up big plays and you can't turn the ball over, right? And those are both things that we did in the first 6 minutes of the game. And so we gave up a big play, then we turned the ball over, which led to another big play, and then all of a sudden it's 14-0 and you're in a hole. And now you're trying to dig your way out of it. So, but I think every coach in America would tell you that they would prefer to start fast. Thank you.
All right, that does it for this week's press conference. Once again, San Jose State hits the road to take on the Nevada Wolfpack this Saturday, November 11th. A 1 o'clock kickoff from Reno. Our coverage on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network starts at 12:30 Pacific time. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next time.